best stories in sports. This is an E60 feature presentation.
Be a leader. Sometimes people simply lead by example.
Back in 2009, Curtis Granderson wrote a children's book called All You Can Be. The book describes a simple set of rules that Granderson tries to live by.
Have fun. Play with passion.
That ball is high. It is gone. No, the Grandy Man can.
The rules seem to be working. At 31 years old, Granderson is coming off a standout season with the New York Yankees, with 41 home runs and 119 RBIs.
Listen and learn. Value your family.
Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. And if you work hard, usually you'll be rewarded in the end.
Granderson learned those lessons growing up in suburban Illinois, the son of 2 public school teachers. His parents were determined he would not just be a good ball player, but a most valuable person.
Think positive. Be yourself.
I had a deal where I did some commercials. They wanted to give me a Corvette, and I turned it down. I said I wanted the Malibu. Everyone recognizes a Corvette, no matter what. But the Malibu, I can sneak in the target and pull out a target, and no one expects me.
Never be satisfied. Choose the right friends. I know that there are people who look up to me, and I try to set a good example through my own actions.
Granderson's approach has long been winning fans, including one in particular. And though they would never meet, their lives would intersect in the most unthinkable way.
It is an act of evil on a scale that we've never seen in this country before.
The Tigers are the champions of 1984.
That year in Detroit, a 3-year-old boy named Brian Bloom fell in love with baseball.
Kids go to school and they talk about the games, and Brian really liked math, so he got in the stats of it all, and it kind of evolved.
After Brian turned 9, the Blooms moved from Michigan to Kentucky, but Brian remained devoted to his beloved Tigers.
That would have been about the time, the internet really started, taking off. And we had cable, and so he could watch some games.
By the time he was a freshman at Virginia Tech in 2000, Brian was an active blogger on a popular website called Motown Sports, where he commented on everything Tigers, even minor league players like Curtis Granderson, drafted by Detroit in 2002.
When I signed to play my professional contract, I thought I'd probably do this for 2-3 years and then go get a regular job just like everybody else.
But Granderson did advance through the Tigers farm system, and the more Brian saw of Granderson, both on the field and off, the more he liked, blogging that Granderson was, quote, a special all-around person. And when Granderson was called up to the big leagues in 2005, Brian wrote, "Excellent. Let's go, Grandy."
Being a well-rounded kind of guy and being a good athlete on top of that made Brian really like him.
Just past 2 a.m. on April 16, 2007, Brian posted a comment about the Minnesota Twins' Torrey Hunter. The next morning, Brian, who was by then studying for his master's, headed for Norris Hall, room 206, for a 9 a.m. class.
There has been a truly horrific shooting incident or incidents on the campus of Virginia Tech.
A neighbor called me and said, "Are you listening to the news?"
Started calling people, trying to find somebody at Virginia Tech that would answer a phone.
One of his friends said, "I've been waiting for him at the dorm, and I haven't seen him yet." I was holding out hope most of the day. It wasn't until later that I guess hope was gone.
We had a highway patrolman show up at our door at between 9:30 and 10 o'clock that night.
25-year-old Brian Bloom was among the 32 people killed on the campus of Virginia Tech that day. The shooter, Sung-Hee Cho, wounded 17 others before committing suicide.
What do you remember about the day that you found out about the shooting at Virginia Tech?
The first thought afterwards was, this is at a college. All these kids could have done something in the future, and we'll never know. And then the thought of, you have to move on, but how do you?
Granderson soon found out one of the victims was also one of his biggest fans, Brian Bloom.
We were able to reach out to Brian's family, and we wanted to honor him at a Tigers game.
The Tigers put up on the board a moment of silence for Virginia Tech victims, and then below it they put Ann Brian Bloom.
That night, Granderson wore a wristband in honor of Brian and arranged for the family to receive a Charlie Gehringer jersey, a tribute to Brian's all-time favorite Tiger. Granderson also decided that on April 16th of every year, he'd change his profile picture on his Facebook and MySpace pages to a picture of Brian.
How important is it for someone like you to be able to say, this kid existed, he was here?
Everybody's existence is important, no matter what, so give an opportunity just to show the importance of who this person was and his family, and that they are just like you and me.
It meant a lot that he cared, he cared to do that. Brian and him were the same age, and in lots of ways are quiet individuals but go about their business, and I think that's kind of what Curtis does.
When Granderson was rehabbing in the minors in 2008, he discovered Brian's friends had raised money to place memorials to Brian throughout the Tigers' minor league parks. So he took this picture of himself and sent it to Brian's family. Still with the Tigers, he then arranged to meet the Blooms for the first time.
Hey, Curtis. How you doing?
Good.
How are you doing?
How are you guys?
And now, as a Yankee, Granderson still sees the family, keeping that connection alive.
Nice seeing you again.
Same here, same here.
How you like New York?
It's been good.
Appreciate the change to the Facebook picture.
Oh, anytime.
Yes.
That was nice.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
It meant a lot to Brian's friends.
Oh,
That's what was, people that were friends.
Yeah, we got a lot of
that
comments
they noticed
from
it.
friends.
That really did mean a lot to them. So
Good.
thank you.
They may not root for the Yankees, but they'll root for you.
Yeah. That's the way Brian would be. He'd still be cheering for the Tigers, but he'd be cheering for you to do well.
Right.
It's amazing how someone I never met can be that impactful. So, just the idea of it, both the good and the bad from it, the whole situation.
The fact that anybody would, remember my brother and think about my family and the difficult time, we still go through is very kind. It warms your heart to think there's people that really do care out there.
Thank you. All right. You're welcome. Same here.
How much of what you're doing for Brian's family go back to the things that your mom told you when you were 7 years old?
The reason why we did the stuff for Brian and his family. It's second nature for me. 30 years of doing it, that's just how I am.